Hi guys, welcome back for Danny's Diary. We're looking ahead to day 2 of the Dublin Racing Festival in Leopardstown. Fantastic 4 grade 1's on the card. Starting with the Novice Chase, Final Demand. Odds on shot here, and deservedly so. I think, his performance in Limerick was exceptional again. He went around there in second gear, and I don't think he even seen the best of him around Limerick. He's going to be very hard to beat here. Cade Daithí was a nice winner in Fairy House, having been second to Kitzbühel, who went on to win a Grade 1, and also runs in the Grade 1 on Saturday over in Sandown, having won his Grade 1 in Kempton. So solid form from Cade Daithí, but he's going to have to step up to be beaten Final Demand, I think. Jimmy Seuil takes part here. Was very disappointing in Limerick, but if he bounces back to himself, he should be one to give Cade Daithí something to think about. But, Final Demand looks to be the one who's out on his own on this, and hopefully he can go and prove it again. The second Grade 1 on the card, the Novice Hurdle. Likely all of the clues for the Supreme Novice. Tote, a very unlucky faller in Leopardstown at Christmas. Looked to have the race in the bag, but for tipping up at the back of the last flight. Just unlucky that day, and, with a clear round of jumping here, I think he's going to be the one they all have to beat. I won on King Rascal Grey, his maiden down in Limerick over Christmas, and gave me a fantastic feel. The way he travelled through that race with such ease and put the race to bed so easily at the back of the last, with the second horse coming out and bolting up in the maiden hurdle since. The form of the maiden is very strong. He's going to need to step up, probably plenty to be giving it to Tote, but he definitely has the potential to do so. Ballyfad, another very impressive winner over Christmas, with Leader Dahlia second to him, who's also come out and won nicely in Punchestown since. He probably represents a good standard as well. Might be the bigger type of horse that will handle conditions quite well, Ballyfad. The Reverend, another one for Willie Mullins here, won nicely down in Cork. He's going to need to sharpen up his jumping, but having come off the flat, I think that run in Cork will definitely sharpen him up here, and it won't be run at a very strong tempo, so it's going to give the Reverend a chance to jump nicely in the race. But I think for me it's going to be a match-up between Tote and the improver King Rascal Grey. Moving on to the 2 mile Champion Chase trial, I suppose here. It's the Irish version, Margeborough. Disappointing so far this year. Didn't perform in Cork. Ran a lot better in Leopardstown at Christmas. And if he can step forward from that again, I think it's going to be, it's going to be a more true running from Margeborough. He's frustrating. He has so much ability, but just he's his own worst enemy. If he can jump in a nice rhythm, he's definitely going to go out there and give him a big round of it. Marine National is going to be on a lot of short lists, but this ground I don't think is going to suit Marine National. The only time I can find heavy to appear beside Marine National in his form was when he was non-runnered in Navan back in November. Now that might have been the time of the year. Barry Connell might not have wanted to get him out on soft to heavy ground for his first run of the season. Ran with a lot of credit, having made that early mistake at Christmas, but ground would possibly be my question mark over Marine National. Solness, he loves Leopardstown, he'll bomb around there, but this ground might not be just what Solness is going to love. By Sunday, this is going to be proper sticky and tough going. For a horse that burns off on the front end, it's going to be difficult to save enough, but his love of Leopardstown is going to bring him a long way. Then we're down to Energamine, the old boy in the race, but he absolutely loves this soft ground. If he can get into a rhythm at a price, Energamine might be the bet of the race. We're on then to the Irish Champion Hurdle. A match-up again between Lossiemouth and Brighter Days Ahead. I would think it's probably Lossiemouth's race to lose, but arguably Brighter Days Ahead can improve more from Christmas. It was her first start of the year, and she ran Lossiemouth to a length, and Lossiemouth had that run in Punchestown in the Morgiana, so maybe a flip-flop is on the cards here. Of the others, Amsterdam, very keen at Christmas. He needs to settle somewhat like he did in the Fighting Fifth. Hopefully there'll be enough pace on that he'll switch off. El Fabiolo got back to winning ways in Punchestown over hurdles. This is probably a trial for Cheltenham. Does he go to Cheltenham for the champion hurdle, which is maybe more of an open race now, or does he go to Aintree? I ride Poniros in the race. Last year's Triumph winner, went into the Triumph 100 to 1 shot, probably doesn't show a whole lot at home, and maybe is not showing a whole lot at home again, but that's no red flag for Poniros. It'll be difficult pitching in again the older horses, but who knows, he caused that shock last year in the Triumph. My other rides on the card, Ile Atlantique, I think has a big chance in the 2 mile 5 handicap chase. The way he came home in Tremor, handled soft the heavy ground down there. I think if he can step forward on that run, he'd have a big chance here. I also ride Blue Lemons, who was quite disappointing at Christmas when pulled up. But with Blue Lemons, his 2 wins last year were on soft to heavy and heavy ground. He's one that's going to handle conditions and could potentially be well handicapped in these type of conditions at Leopardstown.